Hello friends, today we are going to see an important topic, that is inequality, and it is one of the easiest chapter as well, because we all know which one is greater and which one is smaller. Like 1 is smaller than 2, right? So we know the basic concept, which is greater and which is smaller, and we also know that 1 is equal to 1. So what we are going to do basically is we are going to integrate all these. This is greater than, smaller than, greater than or equal to, smaller than or equal to, and greater than or equal to, and equal to, with all the variables. So this is what we are going to do basically here. And there is another concept as well, that is coded inequalities, and that is a lot more easier than this one, because we got a method to do it. Usually what people will do is, with coded inequalities, what they will do is they'll first convert the symbols to the normal one which they know, that is greater than or equal to, smaller than or equal to, and all those stuff. And after that they'll try to solve the problem, and that is a lengthy one. That is a lengthy method, and we have another method for that one as well. So that will be a time consume, that will save your time. Okay, so after this normal one, I'll I'll upload a video on the coded inequalities as well, so that you'll be aware of the new technique as well. Okay, so I hope everyone knows what is greater than, smaller than, or greater than or equal to, smaller than or equal to, and all those stuff. And so I'm going to go for the sum straight away. Okay, so let's go for the first sum. Okay, the options will be like this. If the first, there'll be two in this sum. You can see there is a statement and there are two conclusions. So if conclusion 1 is right, so you have to put the option as 1. If conclusion 2 is right, you have to put the option as 2. If either conclusion 1 or conclusion 2 is right, then you have to put option 3. If neither of them are right, then you have to put option 4, and if both are right, then you have to put option 5. So uh, this is how you will get to the answer of it, okay, in this sum. Okay, now let's go for the sum. And if you see the sum, it is not a single statement. You got three statements here, that is s greater than or equal to t, t less than or equal to a. This is the first statement, and the second statement is e less than or equal to t, and the third statement is r greater than d, that is equal to t. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to combine these three statements into one. So that is the first step. Okay, so we are going to do that one. So first what we are going to do is we are going to write the first statement as it is, because that is the longest statement. So we are going to write the first statement as it is. Okay, between the first and the second statement, what is the common term you see? Common term is t. T is the common term between statement number 1 and statement number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it as t greater than or equal to e. Okay, and between the first and the third statement, the common term is again t. So I'm going to write it as t equal to d less than r. Okay, so this is the combined statement which we have got. Okay, so let's go for the conclusion. The first conclusion is R greater than yes. Okay, so we want to know whether R is greater than S or not. So this is what we want basically. Okay, so I'm going to write that one, that is yes greater than or equal to T, T equal to D, and D less than R. And if you see the sequence here, okay, this is in a different direction and this symbol is in a different direction, so we cannot draw a conclusion if the statements are like this. Okay, so the first option will be incorrect. Okay, let's go for the the first conclusion is incorrect. Let's go for the second one, that is E less than or equal to A. So this is what we want, so I'm going to write it as E less than or equal to T, T less than or equal to A. Okay, so with this one, with this is the statement. From this statement we have to check whether the conclusion which they have given is right or wrong. So with this statement we can say that the second conclusion is right, so the option will be the second option. Okay, suppose if it is like this, that is E less than or equal to T and T less than A, then the conclusion will be E less than A. Okay, so this one is called dual functionality, that is it can perform two things. One is it is less than or equal to, either it can say it is less or either it can say it is equal, so it can do dual function, and this is a single functionality thing. So suppose in a statement if we have a single functionality and a dual functionality, the answer will always be a single functionality. Suppose if they have given like this for this statement, then then this is wrong. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. So if you know this, then everything will be very easy. Okay, so let's go for the second sum. Okay, let's go for the second sum. In the second sum you can see that there are two statements. The first statement is G less than H equal to T less than or equal to R. Okay, this is the first statement, and the second statement is F less than or equal to H. Okay, as I told you in the first sum, the common term between the first and the second statement is H. Okay, so I'm going to write it as a single statement, that is G less than H equal to T less than or equal to R, and I'm going to write it as H greater than or equal to F. Okay, so this is the combined statement. Okay, so let's go for the conclusion, that is we want to know whether F is less than G. Okay, so this is what we are looking at right now. So from this statement we have to find out whether F is f is less than g or not. As I told you before, both the symbols are in the opposite direction, so we cannot draw a conclusion. So the first one is wrong. Okay, let's go for the second one. That is, we want to know whether f is greater than or equal to r. So we are looking at this one. So I'm going to write it as f greater than or equal to, f less than or equal to h, that is equal to t, that is t less than or equal to r. Okay, from this statement we know that f is less than or equal to r. Okay, the conclusion between f and r would be f is less than or equal to r, but the conclusion which they have given is f is greater than or equal to r, so this one is also wrong. So that will be the fourth option, that is, if neither conclusion 1 nor 2 is true, so both are false, so we have to select the fourth option. Okay, so it is very simple, but the problem is we have to understand the concept. If the concept is clear, we can solve 5 sums in less than 4 minutes. Okay, let's go for the third sum. And in the third sum, if you see in the third sum, there is no break, so they have given a single statement. Okay, so I'm going to write it as r greater than or equal to j, that is equal to m less than or equal to t less than v, that is equal to d. Okay, this is the statement which they have given. Okay, and let's go for the conclusion straight away, that is d greater than j. So j is here and d is here, so I'm going to write it as j equal to m less than or equal to t less than v, that is equal to d. Okay, from this I can conclude that d is greater, so j is less than d. From this statement we can clearly say that j is less than d, and that is what they have given. They have given it as d is greater than j, so the first option is right. Okay, let's go for the second conclusion. Second conclusion is r less than v. So r is here and v is here, so I'm going to write the statement as r is greater than or equal to j, that is equal to m is less than or equal to t less than v. And in the statement we want to find out the relation between r and v, and from the statement we can clearly see that this is in this direction and this one is in the opposite direction. So as I already told you before, if two symbols are in the opposite direction, then we cannot draw a conclusion, so the second one is wrong. So the first one is right and the second one is wrong, so we have to put it as the first option. Okay, let's go for the next sum. Okay, let's go for the next sum, and here they have given two statements, so I'm going to write the first statement, that is s equal to l less than or equal to I greater than c. This is the first statement, and the second statement is l greater than v. So the first step is I'm going to write it as a single statement. So S is equal to L less than or equal to I greater than C. The common term is L, so I'm going to write it as V. So L is greater than V. So this is the combined statement. Okay, so let's go for the conclusion. That is, first statement is I greater than V. That is I greater than V. I is here and V is here. Okay, so I'm going to write it as V less than L greater than or equal to, less than or equal to I. And if you see, the symbols are in the same direction, so we can get a conclusion. So as I told you before, if there is a dual functionality and a single functionality sign, so the answer will always be a single functionality one. Okay, since it is in this direction, so I'm going to put it as smaller than. So I'm going to write the first term and the last term here. So that is V and I. So we got the answer as V is less than I. Okay, and that is what they have given. So this one is right. Okay, they have given it as I greater than V, and this is what the answer this is what the answer we got, and both are the same. Okay, let's go for the second one. Second one is C less than or equal to L. Okay, so we are looking at this one. Even by the looks of it, we can see that both are in opposite direction. See, this is in this direction and this one is in this direction, so we cannot draw a conclusion. So the second one is wrong, so we have to put it as option number 1. Okay. Okay, now we can go for the last sum, where we can see there are 3 statements. That is, first one is R less than or equal to A greater than B, C greater than A, F less than or equal to B. So we have, first step is we have to combine this into a single statement. So between the first and the second statement, the common term is A. So I'm going to write it as R less than or equal to A greater than B, and we, from the second statement, we know that A is less than C. Okay, and the common term between the first and the third statement is B. So I'm going to write it as B is greater than or equal to F. Okay, this is the combined statement. So let's go for the conclusion. Conclusion is C greater than R. C is greater than R. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. So I'm going to write it separately. That is R less than or equal to A less than C. As I already told you before, both are in the same direction, and there is a dual functionality and a single functionality sign. So the answer will be a single functionality, and I have to write the first term and the last term as it is. So it's R C. Okay, so we get the result as R is less than C, and that is the conclusion as well. So the first one is right. Okay, let's go for the second one. That is F less than A. Okay, so A is here and F is here, so I'm going to separately write it. So that is A greater than B greater than or equal to F. Like the first conclusion, we can see that both are in the same direction and there is a dual functionality and a single functionality. So the answer will be a single functionality, and I have to write the first the first word and the last word as it is. So that is A greater than F, and that is the conclusion which they have given. So both are right. So we have to select the fifth option. Okay, so this is how you do inequality sum. So what I will do is I'll upload another video on inequality, and after that I'll upload the video on coded inequalities with the shortcut. Okay, so keep practicing it. Once you understand the concept, go through different question papers so that you can practice it, because without practice you cannot achieve the speed. Suppose if you practice 10 sum initially, when you are going to put the sum for the first time, it might take 6 or 7 minutes, or maybe 8 minutes or 10 minutes for putting this 5 sum. But if you practice it for 10 sums, it will come down to 6 or 5 minutes, and if you practice it even more, it will be reduced to 3 or 4 minutes. So that is the optimum performance which we require to clear any bank exam. Okay, so that you will get extra time to attend all other questions. So keep practicing it. If you understand the concept, take a question paper and keep practicing it. It will be very easy. And if you got any doubts, you can post it in the comment box. I'll clear the doubts as quickly as possible. Thanks for listening.